You ready to do that fighter video, Dave?
Well, Ted, I was all set to do a fighter video, but we did a final check over on the Wizards of the Coast site, and apparently there is a new Unearthed Arcana. We've got Unearthed Arcana 2020 Subclasses Part 4.
I guess that other video is going to have to wait.
Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Dave, and as usual, I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Want to keep those D&D videos flowing through your YouTube feed? Make sure you blast that subscribe button.
And if you want to make sure you see those Nerdarchy videos, make sure you attune to that notification bell.
Well, before we jump into the video, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, D&D Beyond, which, before too long, you're going to be able to go on D&D Beyond and look up these new subclasses that we're talking about. But that's not all. It's a great resource for creating your characters, building encounters, or just searching for anything official D&D content.
Not only can you find all of the SRD, the videos, the articles, you can also roll your dice right on your character sheets. So, everything you need is literally right there.
Power up your game with D&D Beyond. There will be a link in the description. And with that, I'm going to pull up the Unearthed Arcana subclasses right on my phone here. Now, we got two new ones. College of Spirits. It's a new bard subclass that learns stories from spirits. The Undead is a new Warlock subclass whose patron is an undead being. Now, we have not actually even read these yet. We're going to give our first impression and read through them right here with you live, or somewhat live, because we literally just discovered that these went up this morning before we were shooting videos. So first up, we have College of Spirits. Stories of the past are powerful. They hold lessons of history, philosophy, and magic. Bards of the College of Spirits seek the stories of those from beyond the material plane. Using gaming sets, they reach out to hear their stories, but the bards have no control over what story they find.
That sounds, pretty fun and interesting, and definitely there's a number of more spiritual subclasses that we're seeing released throughout different books. So I like seeing these. I think they're fun and interesting. Third level, you're going to get Guiding Whispers. You can reach out to spirits to guide you and others. You learn the guidance cantrip, which doesn't count against the number of bard cantrips you know, and for you, it has a range of 60 feet when you cast it.
So that's awesome. It's ranged. It's one of the best cantrips in the game. Also, we're going to get Spiritual Focus, 3rd and 6th level College of Spirits feature. Your practice of contacting spirits can employ special tools. You can use the following objects as a spellcasting focus for your bard spells: a candle, a crystal ball, a talking board, a tarot deck, or a skull. At 6th level, when you cast a bard spell that deals damage or restores hit points through the spiritual focus, roll a d6. You gain a bonus to one roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. So you can do more damage, you can get a little more healing.
So that doesn't look like there's a limitation on that, right? That just says that if you're damaging or healing, you're adding a d6 as long as you use that focus.
That's how I read it.
Kind of potent, but kind of cool.
It's not really more potent than a lot of the abilities where you can do it. You're only going to do it once around, most likely. Right. I mean, there might be a way if you can get off 2 spells as a bonus action and an action, you could get it twice. But again, it's a die 6, and you don't get it till 6th level. I don't think this one's going to break the game.
So Tales from the Beyond, also at 3rd level, you reach out to spirits who tell their tales through you. While you're holding your spiritual focus, you can use a bonus action to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration and roll on the spirit tables using your Bardic Inspiration die to determine the tale told. You retain the tale in mind until you bestow the tale's effect, or you finish a short or long rest. You can use an action to choose 1 creature you see within 30 feet of you, this can be you, to be the target of the tale's effect. Once you do so, you can't bestow the tale's effect again until you roll it again. You can retain 1 of these tales in mind at a time, and rolling on the spirit's table immediately ends the effect of the previous tale. If the tale requires a saving throw, the DC equals your spell save DC. So we know that the Bardic Inspiration die scales up as you gain more levels of Bard. And here you have a list that goes all the way to 12. So as it starts off is it a D6 or a D8?
D6.
So it starts off as a D6. Therefore, the half of the table you're not going to be able to get when you first gain this ability. So these things obviously are going to scale with some kind of power.
And they have cool thematic names: Beast, Warrior, Friends, Runaway, Avenger, Fae, Dark Spirit, Giant Dragon, Celestial, Unknown. And we're not going to read them all. We're just going to read two to kind of be like show the difference. And here's one you could access immediately. It's a number 3, a roll of a 3, friends. You recite the tale of friends who found each other in the afterlife. The target and another creature of its choice it can see within 5 feet of it gains hit points equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. So 2 creatures are going to get the die plus charisma back in hit points. A little healing, nice.
That's nice. I mean, typically if you're maximizing your bard, that's going to be a d6 plus 3 at 3rd level. It's going to go up when you get the 4th, so it's definitely useful right off the bat. Not super powerful, but definitely better than some of the other options for that. We're also going to look at number 11, Celestial. You speak of the exalted deeds of a Celestial. The target regains hit points equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your level. And you end 1 disease or condition from the following list affecting the target: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. So most of those are kind of minor, but ending petrification and even paralyzation is still pretty potent to be able to do, in addition to healing 2 rolls of your die and your level.
Well, I mean, all of them are detriments. It's a decent amount of healing, and you're getting rid of it. And the reason why we called out those 2 is because they're similar, but we wanted to show how the higher tiered die is actually a bit better. I mean, you're going to probably max out at a 20 charisma, so times 2, that's 10 points of healing. Plus, each person will get the die. Here, we're going to get the die twice, which is exactly the same. But it's going to max out at 20 hit points, right. Double with the extra, plus ending the condition. So I think that makes that significantly stronger and noteworthy. So at 6th level, we're also going to get Spirit Session. You can channel spirits to gain insights into magic. You can conduct an hour-long ritual channeling spirits, which can be done during a shorter long rest using your spiritual focus. You can conduct the ritual with a number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus, including yourself. At the end of the ritual, you'll temporarily learn 1 spell of your choice from any class. The spell you choose must be of a level equal to the number of creatures that conducted the ritual, or less. The spell must be of a level you can cast, and it must be in the School of Divination or Necromancy. The chosen spell counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of bard spells you know. Once you perform this ritual, you can't do so again until you start a long rest, and the chosen spell until you start a long rest. So it's kind of cool. Basically, you're just getting another spell known per day. It's based on several different factors: how many creatures are involved in the ritual, and your proficiency bonus. And we're seeing that a lot in these UAs. Like, they're really trying to test out, is the proficiency bonus number a good number to work with in the game?
Yeah, looking at that and seeing that it's like any spell, it's like, whoa, wait a second. Well, once you put the stipulation of necromancy or divination on it, it's like, okay, I know necromancy's got some pretty crazy stuff, but it fits within the purview of the class. It's like, the bard's not like, yeah, what? I need fireball for this mess, so that's definitely outside of that spectrum. So definitely cool and definitely thematic. So at 14th level, you're going to get Mystical Connection. Your connection to the spirits has become semi-permanent. Whenever you use your Tales from Beyond feature, you can roll a d6 and use it instead of expending your Bardic Inspiration die. You can still use your Bardic Inspiration die for the Tales effect without expending it. This is kind of cool that you get essentially unlimited use of that with just that purview of you're using a d6 for the tail.
Yeah, this is similar to College of Blades, actually. They get a feature that's very much like that, where they can use it all the time after a certain level just to a lesser effect, which is cool.
So we're going to move on to Warlock, the Undead. The Undead is an entity that resides in the dark corners of the multiverse. Your patron could be Asarak, Azalin, Lord Soth, Strahd, or some other ancient undead being. You may seek to gain knowledge from your patron's countless lifetimes of experience, while it may see you as a piece of a centuries-long plan. Pretty cool if you ask me. You're willing to, barter and make a pact with an undead entity? Why not?
And all the ones I mentioned are very, very evil. You're going to get an expanded spell list, as you do for being a warlock. The Undead lets you choose from an expanded list of spells. When you learn a new warlock spell, The following spells are added to your Warlock spells list for you. And so at first level, you have Bane and False Life.
Second level, you get Blindness, Deafness, and Phantasmal Force.
Third level is Speak with Dead and Phantom Steed.
Fourth level, you got Death Ward and Greater Invisibility.
Fifth level is Anti-Life Shell and Cloud Kill. This is a very good list. You're going to get access to some really nice spells to choose from here.
Indeed. First level, you're going to get Form of Dread. You manifest an aspect of your patron's dreadful power. As a bonus action, you transform for 1 minute. You gain the following benefits while transformed. You gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your Warlock level. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack, you can force it to make a Wisdom saving throw, and if the saving throw fails, the target is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. And you are immune to the frightened condition. You can transform a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. The appearance of your Form of Dread reflects some aspect of your patron. For example, you could form a Shroud of Shadows forming the crown and robes of your Lich patron, or your face might transform into a bat-like features due to your vampiric patron.
I mean, this is nice. This is going to make you more tanky, and and also give you some control effects right off the bat, first level. And you get to use it twice per long rest to begin with, and it's going to scale from there. Nice. So 6th level, Grave Touch. Your patron's power has profound effect on your body and magic. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. In addition, when you hit a creature with an attack and roll damage against the creature, you can replace the damage type with necrotic damage. While you're using your Form of Dread, you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining necrotic damage that the target takes. So that's a nice little boost. Sometimes it's not going to be as useful because it's necrotic damage, which tends to get resisted or immunities a lot. But being able to do that extra damage, we were discussing. You combine this with high level Eldritch Blast, and you're doing 2d10 necrotic damage per shot. That's not bad.
That is kind of crazy, it's you have a limited use of your Form of Dread, but it's gonna last a minute, so that's a combat. So you could really double up on this, and that's terrifying. 10th level, you're gonna get Mortal Husk. Your connection to undeath and necrotic energy now saturates your body. You have resistance to necrotic damage. If you are transformed using your Form of Dread, you instantly become immune to necrotic damage. In addition, when you are reduced to 0 hit points, you can cause your body to explode. Each creature within 30 feet of you takes necrotic damage equal to 2d10 plus your Warlock level. You then revive with 1 hit point in your previous space, along with your gear, and you gain 1 level of exhaustion. Once you revive in this way, you can't do so until you finish 1d4 long rests.
So, this whole Warlock patron seems to be kind of like a redo on the Undying. And I think universally we consider the Undying the weakest and one of the lamest.
Yeah.
This is literally a rewrite of one of the Undying's abilities. And I think for the Undying it's a little bit higher ability. It might be their 14th or it could be their 10th. I'm not entirely sure. But it's exactly the same thing. You go down, you get back up, you explode, everyone takes damage. It's worded a little bit different, and here you have the potential of multiple rests.
Yeah, I literally left. I find this amusing. I don't remember that one from the Undying. Maybe because it was just a bit subpar. I find anything that doesn't fully reset on a long rest weird. But I know that there are some magic items and other abilities that go off of this. So I have to accept it, but it's something to keep track of. That I can't just hit that button on D&D Beyond of keep track. Hitting a long rest and everything's refreshed, but it's not always.
Yeah, and also you do have that level of exhaustion you're going to get, which that's also another weird factor. That would be a limiting factor in itself to not wanting this to happen. And another ability didn't have that as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. So they're testing it out. I think this will get tweaked.
It does say that you can make that choice. You can cause your body to explode. So it's not like every time it happens and it's gonna I keep going down. I don't want to die.
It wouldn't matter anyway because of the die for a long rest. So that would never come up.
That's true.
But yeah, so there's a little trade-off there. It's kind of interesting. I think this will get retweaked, like you said. I don't like anything either that I can't just hit long rest and refreshes everything automatically. Extra bookkeeping, yuck. So next up we have Spirit Protection, 14th level. Your body is now simply a vessel for your spirit. As an action, you can project your spirit from your body. The body you leave behind is unconscious and in a state of suspended animation. Your spirit can remain outside of your body for up to 1 hour or until your concentration is broken, as if concentrating on a spell. When your projection ends, your spirit returns to your body, or your body magically teleports to your spirit space, your choice. While projecting your spirit, you gain the following benefits. Your spirit and body gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. When you cast a spell of the Conjuration or Necromancy School, the spell doesn't require verbal, somatic, or material components that lack gold cost. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. You can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take die 10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or object. While you are using Form of Dread, once during each of your turns, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you gain hit points equal to half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. This is pretty strong.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a couple things going on here. One, it's kind of weird that your body always gets resistance when your spirit's not in it. But, you know, okay, a little wonky, but not a deal breaker. It does kind of appear like you might be limited to only casting necromancy and conjuration spells from your spirit form unless there are no physical components to be, to the spell, no material components, right?
Right. But, you look at all that you can do. Your spirit and your body gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So technically that means, like, you could be taking damage from, like, both your body and your spirit could be taking damage. Does that limit as one pool of hit points? When you cast anything, with those spells, those two schools, they don't require those things. But if you've got other spells that might fall into it, that might be fine. But if you don't have the physical components, you can still speak and gesture. So those spells, I would imagine, you could still cast.
Yeah, I'm saying Vampiric Touch. Oh my goodness, with this spell is going to be with this form is going to be so good. You're already getting some healing from that and doing damage, and now you're going to
do even more.
Yeah, you're going to get even more healing from it. So that could be super strong.
And it's a once a day ability, and you can do it for up to an hour. So, like, technically, you're like, all right, we're going into the dungeon. I was going to leave my body here. I'll just go in as a spirit.
You could totally do that, or you know what? I need to get up on that cliff. You can fly up there and then teleport your body to you. So there's some cool utility things going on. This one definitely smokes the Undying.
Yeah.
Patron for sure. It's going to totally step all over its toes, like tap dancing. It's fun. Both of these are kind of cool. I like the Spirit Bard. I mean, it's something we've been considering homebrewing for a long time anyway.
Right.
We do have a video years ago we did actually talking about doing something like that. So it's kind of similar.
So I'd like both of these. I would play both of these. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below.
Yeah, and hey, if you like this video on Unearthed Arcana, you can check out the last one we did. There will be a link to it up here. I believe we were talking about new feats in that one.
So if you enjoy these videos and you want to support Nerdarchy, why not check out our Patreon? We do monthly 5e content over there every month
for players and DMs alike. But that's not all. We also do weekly live patron-only hangouts, monthly giveaways our patrons are automatically entered in, and more.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.